That was lovely. Thank you. Good morning. I'm Joanna Long, service coordinator this morning. Welcome, everybody, old friends and new families and visitors. And if this is your first time here, we hope you'll sign our guest book. It's in the back on the left side. That's the right side. Thank you. And if you'd like to introduce yourself and perhaps tell us what brought you here today, that would be grand. Anybody want to do that? You don't have to. Yes, please.
Yes, I have. I just moved here from Chandler Memorial Church in Newport, Rhode Island, and I'm happy to be here. I live over at the terrace, Woodstock Terrace, and I am a new member of your church.
Thank you. Great. Anybody else? Okay. Our minister, Reverend Leon Dunkley, will be giving the reflection today, Sun Shower. How, he asks, are we to find peace in a world that won't behave? Got a story for the children about that. Interestingly enough, this week's Vermont Standard recalls the journalist Dorothy Thompson speaking in this very space on July 7th, 1956. 67 years ago, she said, "Seeking creative alternatives to violence is what intelligent, civilized, and compassionate people do. Peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of creative alternatives for responding to conflict." A lot to unpack there. We're still unpacking it. Got a phone or any other potential noisemakers or peace breakers? Please make sure they're turned off now so they won't surprise us all later. There's some other important announcements in your order of service. Monica's here for the children. And there's pizza and a potluck scheduled after the service. Anybody got any additional or chiming in announcements? I forgot to check this. I seem to remember that imagination is this month's theme. Is that true? Good. Say imagination to me, and what pops into my head right away is the lunatic, the lover, and the poet are of imagination, all compact. That's Shakespeare. For Emily Dickinson, a bird was never just a bird. To hear an oriole sing may be a common thing, or only a divine. It is not of the bird who sings the same unheard as unto crowd. The fashion of the ear attireth that it hear in dun or fair. So whether it be rune or whether it be none is of within. The tune is in the tree, the skeptic showeth me. No, sir, in thee.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Lola. Good morning. Good morning and good Sunday. I hope that this new day finds you well. Today is Sunday, June the 9th, and the title of this morning's reflection is Sun Shower. A sun shower is a natural coincidence of opposites. This reflection is about the experience of standing in the sun and in the rain at the same time. Light always comes in the morning, but you can never tell whether the day will bring sunshine or rain. So I grabbed myself a decent pair of sunglasses, not a great pair because I have a tendency of losing them. I grabbed a decent pair of sunglasses, and also I grabbed myself an umbrella just in case. I didn't know for sure which way the day was going to go. All I knew for sure was that I was going for it either way. Life can be ambiguous, but we go for it, come rain or come shine. As if to the sunrise, I imagine Johnny Mercer singing, I'm gonna love you, like nobody's loved you, come rain or come shine. High as a mountain and deep as a river, come rain or come shine. I guess when you met me, it was just one of those things. But don't ever bet me, because I'm gonna be true if you let me. I imagine this music is like a prayer from 1946, the year that Johnny Mercer and Harold Arlen created it. We remember Harold Arlen from the windy Kansas days. When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens up a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun. Just a step beyond the rain, somewhere over the rainbow. Way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. You know the song, most of us know the song, it's almost inescapable. I imagine that music is like a prayer. It almost always brings me to a good place, fearlessly and compassionately, and sometimes surprisingly. I never know at first whether it's going to be good or bad, because some aspects of life are positive and some aspects of life are negative. Some aspects of life are both. Most of them are neither. Sometimes they're a combination of the two, like ice cream, which is delicious and fattening. Or like Brussels sprouts in childhood. Or technology when we get older. For these things, it's a mix of extremities, some parts rain, some parts sunshine. We wander between the two no matter how deeply we meditate. In fact, it is the practice of meditation to oscillate between extremities, between the yin and the yang of life, between the in-breath and the out-breath of life, between the apex and the apogee of spiritual complexity that animates the living of our lives. We are always moving between one thing and another. We wander between long days and shortest nights of the year, and longest nights and shortest days of the year. We expect life to be one way, when most days it's actually two. So it's good to be prepared for them both. I imagine music like a prayer. A few nights ago, however, I was restless. The night was complicated. I had a fitful sleep. And in my dreams, I was hearing a musical prayer, but it was not a gentle one. It was good, but it wasn't restful, and in my dream state, I was confused. I was hearing not the peaceful musical prayers of Mercer and Arlen. I was hearing the loud and raucous prayers of Steve Perry and Journey. They sang, "Those crazy nights I do remember in my youth. I do recall those were the best times, most of all. In the heat with a blue jean girl, burning love comes once in a lifetime. Found me singing by the railroad tracks and took me home, and we danced by the moonlight And then it was like, those summer nights are calling, so in love, can't help myself from falling. And the raucousness didn't bother me. I was fine and good with all of that. I slept right through most of it, but when the guitar solo came in, I started to wake up. I dream in the language of poetry. I don't dream in the language of guitar solos, especially when I'm not the one playing the guitar solo. It was an otherwise peaceful night, quiet, restful, and restorative, even through the raucous poetry. It was the guitar solo that woke me up. 56 seconds into what I thought was a musical prayer 3 nights ago at 1:53 a.m. It was my neighbor who had decided to play this song at high volume in the middle of the night. I don't quite know how to express what it feels like to hear a screaming guitar at 1:53 a.m. in an otherwise peaceful night. Journey, the Escape album of 1981. It was 1:53 a.m. on a work night, and my neighbor's old school stereo shattered the night. It was really loud. I mean, really loud. It came out of nowhere, which was the strangest thing about it. It didn't shatter me from my sleep until a guitar solo. I was super annoyed for sure, but I was also loving the song. And I loved the boldness of blasting it out in the middle of the night. I haven't spoken to my neighbors about it. I'm sure when I do, it will be funny. I hope to see them in some public place. I can step up behind them in the post office or at the general store and just strike up a normal conversation. And then when they start to talk, I can start to sing, those summer nights are falling, stone in love. And then when they finish speaking, when I finish singing, I can say, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you because the music was so loud. What did you say? And then they would start again, and we would repeat this until they caught on to what I'm doing. So don't tell them if you know who I'm talking about, because I'm going to do this. What I learned from that experience is that our spirits have a choice between honey and vinegar, between sunshine and rain. Life can be ambiguous, but spirit often asks for clarity. When my father died, spirit asked for clarity. My father died in January of 2019. I knew that he was going, not consciously, but I knew that he was going. I was living up here in Vermont at the time. I packed a bag and grabbed 2 guitars, an acoustic guitar and the National slide guitar. And I drove down to New Jersey, and early in the week, I think it was Tuesday, but I can't remember now, I parked and I walked into the hotel and to the hospital in Neptune where my father had done some consulting. I stayed with him every moment until he went, 5 days in a single room, playing the same guitar songs over and over again. I figured I had a captive audience. So. I left only once, and that was to have lunch with Mike, who had driven over from Philadelphia. Michael Thomas Joseph Carey III. He works for Disney now. He does lighting for The Lion King all around the world. He's usually in London or Rome or Singapore or something, but lucky for me, he was in Pennsylvania, just over an hour away. We went to high school together. We had secret codes that we would share. What was the one? We would say, one of us would say, the trees are green from across a crowded room, and then the other one would respond, and we're picking red apples from the shore. Now, I don't know that that ever meant anything. But everyone around us thought it was really some sort of cool code. We went to high school together and we shared powerful experiences. One of the times I remember most was at the beginning of our sophomore year in high school. It was 1981, funny, but it's the same year that Raucous Journey album came out. We were just, at the beginning of the school year, we were both on the football team. Freshman year, we had enjoyed that experience and we were starters on that team. We were in the starting lineup. Mike was a defensive end and I played outside linebacker. We both did well as freshmen and we were hoping to make varsity in our second year. We had a meeting, a skull session we called it, in one of the classrooms before the practices began. Our team captain said something of a joke. He said, "If someone doesn't bleed in every practice, it's a wasted practice." That's what I thought. Mike and I thought it was hilarious. Sitting in the back of the room, we both started laughing, only it wasn't a joke. He was serious, and so was the rest of the team and the coach. Mike and I laughed out loud and with confidence, anticipating the protection of a larger crowd. When it turned out that he and I were the only ones laughing, we looked at each other and decided to leave the room. We lost a lot of friends that day. We left the team that day. We probably even made a lot of enemies that day. But neither of us ever looked back. Our spirits were quite clear. We just went on to do other things. For us, they were better things. I love football. I love the strategy. But there's no need to bleed. For us, bleeding meant that we were doing something wrong. So anyway, Mike and I went out to lunch when he met me at the hospital in Neptune. And we talked about our families and we talked about our fathers and about love and about life and about aspiration. I told him that my dad was very glad for my company, but I wasn't entirely sure that he remembered who I was. I told Mike that how little that bothered me. I cried about it, but I wasn't really all that sad, if that makes any sense. My crying felt like a sun shower. I was with him, rain or shine. So I grabbed a decent pair of sunglasses, not a great pair. And also I grabbed an umbrella just in case, because you never know, life is ambiguous. It can go either way, usually both. Months before those last days with my dad, I visited him in the hospital. His mind was going, but not his spiritual disposition. In fact, his spiritual disposition strengthened over that course of his journey. I was with him one morning. I got to the hospital before he woke up, and I just sat with him and I prayed, not the raucous prayer, but in my own more quiet way. And the nurse came in kind of guns blazing. She said, "Good morning, Leon." I'm Leon Dunkley, Jr., which he was always proud to remind everyone we met together. "Good morning, Leon," she said loudly and woke him. Just like the Journey song. Only slightly startled, he responded, and without hesitation, "Isn't every morning a good morning?" His spiritual choice was clear. No matter what the weather may bring, days may be cloudy or sunny, and we're in or we're out of the money, but I'm with you always. Rain or shine. I feel like he's with me always. Come rain, come shine, come both at the same time. Now, before closing this morning, I wanted to share with you two things. Firstly, we had a double rainbow this week. Did any of you see it? Did you see it, Sarah? I was working in South Royalton at the time, like Bob had mentioned. I was meeting with Josie Watkins, who is one of the people who's helping out with Brave Light. After a courageous meeting, we walked out into the parking lot and bam, there it was, a rainbow in the sky as clear as day. So I ran over to the train tracks, near the train tracks, to take a picture, and suddenly a second rainbow appeared above it. I met a young man just a few minutes later who said that there had actually been three. One rainy, super depressing week at Star Island, a beautiful rainbow appeared after 5 or 6 days of rain. Now, it's a terrible thing when you go away for a week and it rains for 5 or 6 of the 7 days. I was a pelican that year, which means that I was someone who worked on Star Island throughout the summer. Those people are called pelicans. I was on a good crew. It's called Buildings and Grounds. We were in the tool shed when the weather broke, when the rainbow suddenly appeared. So to strengthen the spirit of the conference and to improve the mood of the island, we grabbed rakes and shovels and pickaxes and buckets, and we got together and we made a plan. Now, most Star Island conferences For most of the conferees at this conference were gathered together on the front porch of the hotel under a giant awning that was protecting them from rain. When the rainbow appeared, it seemed to touch down right in front of us in Gosport Harbor, maybe 200 yards away. So to please the rain-soaked crowd who had been assembled there for days at the edge of the rain, my crew made a joyful and terrible noise, clanking and screaming and running across the rain-soaked front lawn toward the rainbow's end with our axes and our shovels and our rakes and our buckets. We were getting terribly wet, but it was well worth it. We were hunting for the mythical pots of gold. I won't reveal to you whether or not we found them. Secondly, and with joy, Joelle, Stevie, and Andy Wood got married yesterday. I was honored to officiate, and the rains broke off minutes before the outdoor service was set to begin. Minutes, seconds, really. I won't share much. That's their story to tell. I will only take one liberty, and I pray it is with their blessing. The otherwise solemn service called for a moment of silence midway through. Silence is important. It allows us to take stock of the miracles of life. It reminds us that we are only one small part of a much larger world, adventuresome and tameless. I called for this moment of silence, just as the ceremony required, and I asked those assembled to quiet down and to listen to what the world had to say to them at that particular moment in time. And then, just then, as if on cue, a small child, a young boy, maybe 3, conjoined his voice with nature's music, added to the winds and the raindrops and the gentle singing of birds, were the fart noises of a young soul who was walking in the distant grasses. He offered this not once, and he offered this not twice, but several times throughout the moment of silence. It was a holy thing. What is the choice of your soul? Do you incline for sunshine or rain? You are good either way. Life can be ambiguous. The light always comes in the morning, but you never know what the day will bring, if it will bring sunshine or rain. So grab a decent pair of sunglasses and also an umbrella just in case, because we never know which way it's going to go. All we know for sure is that we're going either way. We go for it. We say yes to life. Come rain or come shine. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. Hear the cries of war fall silent. Feel our love grow like the sun. Then the guitar solo. Then the sunglasses and the umbrella. Let's be prepared for what may come. Go in peace. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.